Welcome to the Coffee House, where we discuss board games, miniatures, and painting them, not necessarily in that order. If any of those things appeal to you, consider hitting that subscription button down below if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, I just gotta ask, why? Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Alright, here we are. We've made it to the titular character of Cthulhu Death May Die. That's right, we are going to be taking on the big chonky boy himself. If you've been following along, you've been painting along, nothing here that you're going to see is going to be new. We're going to be doing a lot of wet blending, we're going to be combining colors, we're going to be painting wings, we're going to be capping off nails and toenails and all kinds of slimy stuff. Nothing here is new. If you've been following along, you've got this without any issues. Much of what you're going to be doing on this model is exactly what you did on the Star Spawn. So there's no surprises here. Now, without any further rambling, let's dive into Cthulhu. So we've got our big boy all primed in gray, 100% coverage. And we're going to create a similar blend as we did with the Star Spawn between the Charming Chartreuse and the Gunner Camo. The ratio, however, is different. It's actually just a 1-to-1 ratio. We want Cthulhu to be a little bit darker. So 1-to-1 Charming and Gunner, and we're just going to start slapping paint on this model with a nice big bristly brush with a whole lot of paint on it. Being very generous here with the paint. Don't be afraid about overdoing it. There is a ton of texture on this model. You'll notice I'm stopping right along that seam on the model where they glued it together. It's a good stopping point on this model so that you don't have to worry about paint drying before you finish painting a certain area and it being noticeable, leaving a line. We're going to go ahead and get this low-hanging gut, leaving the legs empty for now. So now I'm going to take Purple Alchemy on a smaller brush and we're going to go over all of these little suckers, I guess they are, and you're just going to glide that brush over the top. You want to make sure it applies to the rim and seeps down into the hole there. And because we've been so heavy-handed with this paint application of this first coat, it should still be relatively wet. So when we apply the Purple Alchemy along the top edge, it'll blend nicely. This is tedious. There are a lot of these, but I promise it's worth it. And don't forget about the little guys down here at the bottom of the gut. Now we're going to continue working on the arm here. We're going to go down maybe 3/4 of the way with our flesh tone. And just like the Star Spawn, we're going to paint the hands in pure Gunner Camo. And then we're going to pull that color into our standard flesh tone and wet blend the two together. So you want the hands dark, and then the gradual transition up into the arms with that lighter color. So pure gunner at the bottom, and then you're going to pull it into the arm. Just like so. Pulling down. And we're going to repeat the process on the arms with that purple alchemy on those suckers. Both arms. Now we're going to begin the legs, and we're going to paint the legs just like we did the arms. So we're going to go halfway, 3/4 of the way down with our standard flesh color that we have created. And then at the bottom, we're going to do that dark gunner camo, and we're going to pull the two colors while they're still wet into each other. So your end result is going to be a darker foot, gradually lightening as it goes up the leg. We're going to do this on both legs. Dark on the bottom, pull into the light. And once again with that purple alchemy, we're going to hit all these suckers. Now we're going to move on to the face. We're going to hit that with our flesh blend color of the chartreuse and gunner. I'm going to forget where my camera is for a second. Oh, there we go. Take that same gunner camo that we've been using, and we're going to blend it with some aged hide on these tentacles. So at the top, we're going to hit it with the gunner camo. And then while it's still wet, we're going to apply the aged hide. We're going to mix the two together, just like we did on the arms and legs. Nice wet blend, and then we're going to do some pure aged hide down towards the bottom. We're not going to go all the way down. And then we're going to come back again with that gunner camo on the bottom, and we're going to pull the colors into each other. And don't be afraid to bounce back and forth. You might need to apply some more gunner and then hit it with more aged hide, or vice versa. We're going to move on to the wings, and again we're maintaining that gunner camo for all the spindly bits, the muscles, and the infrastructure with that gunner camo. And if you've been following along, you've been watching, you already know what we're going to do. We're going to be doing wet blending. And if you have been following along, and if you've been painting along, you're going to be a pro at this point. So you know exactly what to do. You're going to let that gunner camo bleed onto the wing. And then while it's still wet, you're going to apply the aged hide, and you're going to mix the colors into each other. And pull that gunner camo into the aged hide towards the center of the wing. There we go. So you're going to start pulling, and pulling into the center. And we're just going to repeat this process all across the wing, even this little bit up here. Exact same thing on the back of the wing. Pull the colors into each other. And we're going to repeat this exact same process on the other wing. So you're going to go heavy on the gunner camo here, along the spines, and then you're going to add that aged hide and pull the colors together. Make sure you get the outer edges of the wing. Now once you're done with the wings, we're going to take some ancient stone and we're going to pick the claws and the toenails. As well as the tips of the wings here. Then once that dries, we're going to take some pallid bone and we're going to go all over that ancient stone. Make sure you get plenty of coverage. You want a good amount of this on there. Claws, toenails. And of course, the tips of the wings. Now we're going to take some pure red, just get a little bit on our brush, and we're just going to dab the eyes out. Just gently. Let the paint do the work, let the brush do the work. You don't need to apply hardly any pressure on your end. So there's 4 eyes on each side. The ones on the bottom are kind of hidden. And then we're going to dab that same red color with a little bit of the demonic yellow. On all 8 eyes. And then from there, we're just going to black out our base with our matte black. You know the drill. And if you've been following along and painting along, your end result is going to look something along these lines. That's it. You did it. We did it. Cthulhu is painted. All the monsters of Death May Die, all the enemies of Cthulhu Death May Die, the core box, have now been finished, and if you've been painting along, you've done it. So what's left? All of those investigators, which we are going to tackle next, so stay tuned for that. If you've been painting along, if you've been having fun, if this has helped you out in any way, please consider checking out my Patreon down below. For about the price of a cup of coffee every month, you can help me keep my lights on and keep these videos a-coming. I sincerely appreciate it. Special shout out to my top tier patrons, Tyler, Dan, Steven, JB. You guys are my heroes. I love you. Thank you so much. Again, I'll see you guys next week, because we're not done yet, but we're getting close to that finish line of the core box. I'll see you soon, guys.